open VS Code.
Opening BF code. It's on your screen, sir.
Close the window.
Sir, I don't get your point.
Functions.
My programs are limited by codes.
Now, once I click the login, see that it is redirect me to the login window, some random username and password which is not existing right now, and click on the login. He will be displaying wrong user ID, no face matching, like he's going to arrest you illegal entry. Hello guys, welcome to this new tutorial about how to create your own Jarvis with GUI using the Python. And this is a second video guys, as I actually done a full tutorial 6 parts in Tamil language, which I have given the link in the description. If you know Tamil language, you can also watch this tutorials. In this video I'll be showing how to create Jarvis, which you have seen in the demo, into English tutorial guys. Okay, without further ado, let's get started guys. First we need a Qt designer app to design the GUI which we have used in the demo. For this, let me open the Google Chrome and just type Qt creator, and you'll see the Qt creator and the first link. Go download the Qt and get down Qt for open source, and then click on the online installer. I think so, yes, online installer, and click on the download, and you will be getting the download ready for you. Okay, I already downloaded this and installed. Just you want to create a login email ID for this Qt creator, and then log in and then install it in the right way. After installing, I'll be opening my Qt creator, and let me create a new project for this. Let's say Python application Qt for Python, and then click on the window UI, like choose, and then let me give a name called, let's say this is the main file, so main GUI file. Okay, so you can also use a dialog or a widget, so let me use widget here, and let's click class name as main GUI file, and click on the next and click on the finish. And here's our project file, so click on the form.ui so that we can design our form like which way we want. Okay, first let me change the background of this to black. So go to the style sheet, add color, background color, click on the black, and you will be getting the black. If you don't know about this PyQt creator, so these are the layouts which we want to use, like here we can drag and drop the push button or something else which we want, and here are the properties manager. You can use the width, you can set the height, you can like basically this is the property tab which you can change many things in your GUI files. So let me select this as 900 and 900 cross 600, right? Okay, first I'll be giving this as 600 cross 600. No, it's too small, I think so. So let's say 800 cross 600, that's okay. And let me select the label here, because see, you can see the label. You can use this label to add a image or something you want, add a text or anything you want. So click on the label and drag it down, drop. Then in the properties tab, go to the pix map here to add an image. To go to the pix map, select this drop down, choose file, and navigate to the file which you want. I'll be giving the GUI files in the link in the description. You can also download the GUI files which I'm using in this video. And I'll be giving Curtis technology as here open, and you can see that it is resizing as it is as it wishes, but this should not be happen guys. But this is not we are going to do. Just go down here, select the scaled contents and tick checkbox, and you can resize it now as you the way you wish. And I'll be uh, placing it on the top, and again I'll be using a GIF file here. Okay, inside this GUI, same, let me click on the pix map and let me choose a template. I think let's use this hero template and select the scaled contents, and here it is resized. Now let me add two buttons here to our start and stop. For buttons, scroll to the top and you can see the push button here. Click on the push button, drag and drop it, and resize it in a way which you want to make it good. Okay, let's double click on this and remove the text in it. Okay, let's click on this and go to the style sheet, and you can see the style sheet here. Yes, and click on the add a resource and go to the border image. So click on the resource root and you will not find anything here because we didn't import it till now. So click on close. First, how to import resource files. Click on the edit option here, right click on the main GUI, click on the add new button here, add new, and go to Qt and select Qt resource file, choose, and then give it a name called let's say GUI, and click on the next and finish. And as you can see, it created a GUI.qrc file, and right click on the GUI.qrc and click on the add existing files and navigate to the GUI files which you have, and I'll be having this right here, and control all, and let me take it out this folder. And okay, that's all good. Click on the open and it will be taking some time to open this, so click to S to all and you will be getting all the files imported right here. Again, go to the form.ui, double click on this and repeat the step which I have already told you. Click on this and click on the border image tab, and you can see the GUI tools. There's a folder called GUI tools, and click on this and you will be getting images right here. So I've already created some buttons for this, like a PNG file which I have created in Photoshop, and let me import those. Let's say start button. Okay, here it is, start. Okay, and click on the OK. You will be getting the start button right here. Like, I don't have a background in my PNG image, but this button has a background by default. So right click on this, change the style sheet and type. If you don't want to type, you can also click on the color, background color, select the black, and then remove this and say transparent. This is more likely a CSS programming language, so you can play with this easily. So you can, if you see I click the apply, it automatically turns off the background image. So click on the OK. So let me resize it in a way which I want. So if you want to make this like, when I move the mouse button on this start button, my mouse should automatically turn to a pointing hand symbol. So you can also do this by selecting the properties tab, like cursor. You can see the cursor here. Click on the cursor, you will be getting a list of mouse pointers, and you can see the pointing hand right here. So click on the pointing hand. When I move the mouse to this start button, it will be changing my mouse to a pointing hand. That's good. It will not turn right now, it will be turning when you run this GUI file. Okay, so let me copy this and paste this again. So let me change this style sheet to change the button. Okay, let me resize this in a way which it matches with the start. As you can see, I created 3 buttons for start, one for login and one for exit, and this GUI is not playing right now, and you can see this. This is the actual GIF file which I have used here. This is moving, like it is playing something inside this, but this is a stagnant and static without playing any videos in here. This will be working when we program it in a right way. So I'll be showing how to do this. Okay, let me close this, and this is our main GUI file. So let me save this out, and let me show you how to create this into a Python file. This is in a UI file. So let's close this out, we don't want this. Open the path which you have given to create this form.ui file, and inside this folder click on the search button here, like right path button here. Click on let's say type cmd and click on the enter, and you can see this command prompt is opened inside this path of your project files. Okay, so first we should type pyuic5. Before this step, you need to install pyqt5. You can install it from GitHub repository, or you can also install it through your terminal, and that's upon your wish. And after installing, type this pyuic5 and then minus x and type form.ui. I typed form.ui because my UI name right here is form. So I typed form.ui and then minus o and then the name you want your Python file to be. So let's say mine, I want mine to be main Python file. Let's say, oh, not this huge name, main GUI dot py. First, you need to type pyuiz5 minus x and the form.ui, the name of the UI file which you have done right now, and minus o, the main GUI file. You can also give any name you like. So click on the enter and let's key enter. Okay, you can see the main GUI file has now appeared right here. If you open this file, you can see Qt creator has created as this Python code for our GUI. Click on this reformat file to get this reformatted, and if I click the law play button, and you can see something right here. It is showing the pointer hand, Scottish technology, but we don't see the start button, login button, and the exit button right here, but our arrows are just changing when we see this. For this, you can see that the set pixmap GUI something like this, but we don't have a complete path right here. It's saying GUI tools, Cardless technology white.png, but we don't have a full path. If we specify the full path right in here, let's check it out by giving the full path right here. When you are specifying something a path, it is advisable that to use double slash buttons to avoid escape sequences. So click on the play and you can see it is working properly, and let me use this on each other pixmaps. Inside the border image URL, let's specify a single slash here. We don't need a backslash right here. Okay, I've given those. Let me click on the run here and you can see it is completely working fine, and we don't see the movies playing right here. So click on close and you can see another mistake right here, which we don't actually get a pointer arrow when we place the mouse over the start. It is changing the pointer arrow when move the mouse around this icon, but it is not good, right? We have programmed it in a way which we want to change the cursor when we place the mouse on the push buttons. And you can see the label 2, it is sets the cursor to the pointing hand on the label 2, but we don't want this. Actually we can control X. So I'll remove this code right here and place the code above the push button. So change this into push button and you can see this will be working now. So if I place the start, you can see the start button, it's changing my pointer to the pointing hand. So it's good. So let me change this to the button 2 and button 3, and now we are all set. Okay. For controlling the GUI file, we don't want here to our code to be like here or somewhere else. Let me create a new file for this. I have already created a file, and I have already created a file called main.py, and in here we'll be calling the py main file GUI and running the code in here. As I told you, you should have a pyqt package installed before doing the main step, and I'll show you how to install it anyways. Click on the Python 3.10 right here and go to interpreter settings, and it will be opened, and click on the plus icon and say, let's say pyqt, and you can see it is highlighting the text as a blue color, and I have already installed this. So you can also install in right here, or you can also use your terminal to install pip install pyqt, and also you can do pyqt tools to get used to, and then click on the close, and then import pyqt, and let me say import sys, and then from pyqt widgets import q widgets below here from, and then a main step is, let me close this. I'll be showing you how to open this again. And open your project file path. Mine is here, and I don't want this Qt designing as my main Python file path. So open this and copy this main GUI which we have created right now. Copy this main GUI file, not the main file, and go to your working directory and place this right here. Your main file and main GUI file should be placed in a same folder to get access inside every Python file. So let me show it in a large icon. So main file and main GUI file should be placed in inside a same folder. Okay. So okay, let me open this. Okay. Inside the main file, let me import the GUI file from main GUI import. Let me say the class name UI main file. Okay, it's good. Okay, inside this file, let me create a class main file. Inside the class, pass q widget as a parent directory, and then let's say init def underscore init self. Let's say a super. This is the basic initializing steps. Let's say print, and then now we'll be giving a name to our UI files. Let's say self dot let's say main GUI. Let's say main UI is equal to, we should give the UI name right here. Copy this and paste this, and then self dot main UI dot setup UI. The setup is complete right now, and then should pass the self here. Sorry, I just missed the brackets here. Okay, that's cool. And let me add a simple code to control my, let's say, close to close button. Okay, so main UI dot push button 3, I think so, for close. So let me check it out. And push button 3 is the exit button, I think so. Okay, push button 3 dot click dot connect self dot close. So now when I click the close button, my window will be closed. Now down below, let's say main will be giving app is equal to, these are the default codes which you don't want to remember, so let me just type it. Okay, it's done now. So let me try it out using the run button. And as you can see, it is good, and we can see the main file and is printed in the terminal. And let's try clicking on the exit, and it worked. Oh, super. Okay, now let me give the movie. Let's play the movie right here. It is static, right? It is very boring when we get the static movie right here. So let's do it dynamically. And let's say in here self dot menu UI dot, let's say movie, it's a variable called movie, is equal to qtgui dot qmovie, and inside this, let's say the path of the movie which we have given right here. Where is it? And it's a hero template, it is the movie name, and copy, and inside this let's paste this, and down below self dot menu UI dot, let's say what is the label 2. Label 2 is the object name, so dot label underscore 2 dot set movie. Inside this, let's specify the variable name which we have created right now, dot movie, and then self dot menu UI dot movie dot start. Okay, let's play, and you can see the movie is running so smoothly. Click on the exit, it's good right now, and we have successfully created the starting window which is the main file. And now let's move on to a login window which we have already seen in the demo part. So okay, let's create another qt form.ui to create the login window. So click on the open project, navigate to your file. Mine is inside this main GUI file. So click on the project file, project file, click on the open, it will be opening you, and right click on this, click add new, and go to qt, let's say qt designer form, choose, and click on the widget, next, and you should rename this as you want. So let me say login window dot UI. Okay, click on the finish, and you can see the login window is popped up. Let me do this quickly, and okay, I just finished the editing part right here, and you can see I have a queue line edit for this login, and a queue push button, queue line edit for this password, and these are all the push buttons. This queue line edit, you can drag it from here. Queue line edit, this is the line edit which I have used. Then main important part is you want to display a GIF when the user didn't give the proper credentials. For that we'll be using a queue label, and I have used this like it's a GIF file. You can place it over this. Just you should make sure that it is properly placed, and we'll be doing this inside the coding part. Okay, so okay, let me save this, and let me open this as a Python file. Let me copy this Python file and place it near my main files. Okay, this is my login file, and again we should be giving the proper full path so that we can get these images properly placed. Okay, now my files are actually working. Okay, now let me create a new file called login window Python file login window. Okay, okay, let me copy this and paste this right here. Let me change this something. Login window GUI, import, what's the name here, UI form. Okay, I didn't change this. UI form, and UI form. Okay, I don't want this. Name of this is login window. Okay, this is good. Now let me take this out. Print is not, I don't want. And let me click on the play, and you can see it is working. All right, now our vision is to make this GUI file play when we have entered the password incorrectly. For that, let me hide this first. So I don't want this to be appear all way upside. So self dot main UI. Sorry, this I don't want this main UI to be my UI name. Okay, login UI. That's good. This is the name of our login UI. Login UI dot we can see the list of object names right here. I have changed the object names, and you can see what is my object name. Let me check this out. I have used illegal entry as the object name. Yes, illegal entry dot gif. And okay, login UI dot illegal entry dot hide. Basically it will be hiding the GUI from our display. Okay, click on this, and you can see it is hidden, but our text fields are getting open. Okay, let me close this. Firstly, we want to hide our input text inside the password field. So if I say username as my name, so Curtis, and let's say my password is pass, I don't want this to be explicitly seen by everyone. I want this to be something like a star, or else minus minus minus. That should be, it should not be visible to everyone. For that we need to import a package called line edit, queue line edit, near the queue widget. You can also import this right here, and then self dot login UI dot what's our object name. It will be like password entry dot set echo mode. Inside this, let's say queue line edit dot password. Let's check it out now, and it is Carter's openly seen by everyone, and here it is not seen by anyone. This is what we want. For validating the login, let me create a function called def validate login. Let me create two variables called username is equal to self dot login UI dot username entry dot text. This will be taking the text from the username entry, and pass is equal to self dot login UI dot password entry dot text. Let's say if username is equal to Carter's and pass is equal to pass print login success. Let's check it out right now and if it is working or not. Carter's and my password will be pass, and click on the login. I'm not seeing anything printing here. Okay, I didn't call this validate function inside our init. For that, okay, for that let's create our login UI dot let's say enter button as no, it is login button dot clicked dot connect self dot validate login. Okay, now let's try it out, and you can see cards pass and click on the login. You can see the login success. That's good. Click on the exit. It won't work because we don't have programmed it yet. Let's say self dot login UI dot exit button dot clicked dot connect self dot close. It will be working now. So now I've validated the login, whether if it is good it will be logging in, or if it is bad or anything something else, it will won't say login successful. With this method we can display the GIF file where we have already placed it. First I'll be initializing the movie self dot login UI dot, let's say movie entry movie is equal to qtgui dot qmovie. Inside this let's pass the path right here. Let's take this out and use double backslash, and then down here let's say login UI dot illegal entry is a label name dot set movie. So this self dot login UI dot illegal entry movie. Just we have initialized this and we don't started this yet. So let's start it when the username and password fails. Say def dot movie. Inside this self dot login UI dot legal entry dot start for stopping the movie. Let's say stop movie. Same code. This has a small error. Don't get it so deeply. And before this, we have just hidden this file from being shown. So before the start file, so let's say self.loginui.illegalentry.show, and here let's say self dot. Okay, this will work cool now. Click on the start, and let's say characters and pass as pass. Click on the login. It say login successful. Let me say cartus 1. Click on the login. Okay, it is not displaying because we didn't call the start movie and stop movie when in the else. So in the else say start movie self dot start movie. Let's click on this and click on the random, click on the login, and you can see this is playing. You no space matchings, and this guy is beating this guy. Illegal entry. You AP tray is Singham coming, okay? So when I click the retry and back button, it's not working. I'll be programming in the way that when I click the retry, I'll be clearing the screen of login and password, and let me retry the login and password. That's like, okay, for retry button, let me create a function called retry def retry button login UI dot username entry dot clear. Should pass self here, and self dot login UI dot password entry dot clear, and then self dot stop movie. Okay, this is good now. Okay, let me select. Okay, let me when I click the retry. Okay, I didn't call the retry function when I click the back button. So inside this self dot login UI dot retry button dot clicked dot connect self dot retry button. Now it's gonna completely work fine as something, and click on the retry. I'll be redirected again back. Okay, that's cool now. And this back button has a function. When we have our face recognition file completed, we'll be programming it in a way. When we click on the back, it will be redirecting me to the face recognition file, and check our face if it is matching properly. Now I'll be clicking on the exit. So now our login function is completed. So now let's jump on to the face recognition function, and let's do this. For face recognition, it is a simple GUI, and I'll be showing you how to create this fast forwarded mode. And now I have created file, and you can see this is a box called a video label. It's a input from a queue label. Inside this we'll be displaying our face camera. Okay, now let's open this as a Python file. Okay, I have saved this. Let me close this out. Okay, it's completely working inside the GUI file. Okay, now let me create a new file called Python file face record. Let me copy this, paste this, and change something inside this called a face recognition GUI. What's the name of this class? Is UI form. And a log. The face recognition part is actually very tough, I think so, because it has a lot of coordinates, and it is quite difficult to understand something. So first, let me import some packages which we will be using right here. CV2 is a module to open our camera and access through the various commands, and um, change our video encodings and etc, something like this. Face recognition is the module which we actually use to encode our faces, to detect the known faces, something like this. You want to install these numpy face recognition in CV2 using the command terminal, or you can also use this Python interpreter settings to install those commands manually. First we need to change the UI name as face UI. First let me give you the close button program, exit button dot click. It's good. First let me create a variable. So let me create a method inside this run program. Inside this let me give the video path. Actually, video path is mostly if you have a single web camera, you can give one here to access your web camera. If you don't have a web camera, or you just want to test it using something video files, you can use a video path here. I'm too using a video path in here, and as I use the test sebj.mov, so let's say self dot video path is equal to this. So encode the known images. Let's say def encode images, and inside this, so let's pass self dot encode images. Inside this, let's give the path video path. We should pause object here called camera name, and that's the video path actually. Sorry, here you don't want the self here. Okay, it's good. inside the encode images, we should pass some images which you want to give. You can use your image or some images which you take from Google or something else. I have used some images from the Google. As you can see inside my images folder, I have some images like GP Mutu. I have used two or three images of same person. You can see Tony Stark and Tony dot Stark, because the Windows don't allow me to use same name for both the images. So I have used Tony dot Stark and Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, something you can see, testing, speaking, vibing, etc. Okay, this is the path of my images folder. Inside this, let's say print encoding. Down below, let's say if length of camera name is equal to 1, self dot capture is the variable, cv2 dot video capture, integer of camera name. This is something like a error throwing code, so I have used a if and else to avoid this. Let me initialize a timer for this. Self dot timer is equal to q timer. Inside, let's say pass self. Let me give the path is equal to images. You can give directly images, or you can give the whole path like this, as it's upon your wish. Let's say if not os dot path dot exist path, if there is no images path, let's create one os dot make dir path. Now let's initialize some list variables, so we can use this further images. And down below, let's take the images first and store it into these variables called images and class names, etc. For cl in photo list, current image is the variable which you have currently created. cv2 dot im read is the function to read the images and encode this. Apparently we are opening the path from our path bar cl, which is reading the path one by one. So first it will be reading the for example, on the first cl it will be reading gp.speaking, and on the 2 gp testing it will be storing the images form of the cv2 in the current image variables. Down images dot append the current image. Now images list will be having the current image one by one accordingly. And then self dot class names dot append os dot path dot split text cl of 0. That's it. And below we'll be creating a img in images. Inside this we'll be encoding the faces accordingly. First we have taken the images one by one and then stored it in the images and class names. Now we'll be encoding each of the image and store the encodings inside this encode list. So for that, img is equal to cv2 dot cvt color img comma cv2 dot color underscore bg or to RGB. Color changing is important in CV2, guys. Box is equal to face recognition. Here comes the face recognition. Dot face locations of IMG and encode current frame is equal to face recognition dot. This is the code to encode the image properly using the face recognition to identify the faces. Then below self dot encode list dot append, this is the appending, encodes current frame. As I told you, we have completed encoding our images. After printing is done, let's connect to the update frames. So use the timer, self dot timer start in 10. Let's say update frames here, as we have already created. Let's say update frames. Inside this update frame, let's now initialize the video camera, which I have already given right here. Now right, comma, self dot image is equal to self dot capture dot read. Capture is the func variable which you have already created right here. And then to display image, we want to create another method to display the image. So let's say display image, and we want parameters, 4 parameters inside this to display the image, actually image, and encode list and class names, comma, that's it. We'll be giving the window is equal to 1. That's for a default method. And then let's call this here self dot display image, and let's pass self dot image here, and self dot encode list which we have already created right now, which we have created right now, and self dot class names. That's it, and we can give 1 here for the windows is equal to 1. Inside this, let's create a variable called image is equal to cv2 dot resize, and image comma, it's asking the height and width of our actual window to be, and you can go to the face recognition GUI and say where is our video label, and video label is 681 cross 491. Let's give this right here. This will be good right now. Now, as you can see, we have encoded the actual images which we already have, and we are uh, getting the input from this video file. Okay. Now we want to display the image. Before displaying the image, we want to recognize the face and draw a rectangle around the face, and we want to give a name about which face we are detecting. For example, if we detect a Tony Stark, we want to draw a rectangle, and we want to give a name called Tony Stark, right? And now for that, let's create another method called EEF. Here comes the face recognition. Inside this method, we want actually 3 parameters to be images, sorry, image, comma, encode list, comma, class names, actually, as we have already asked inside this display image. Same here. Let's call this function from here. Please take a note right here. If we display an image, the CV2 will go through each frame and check for a face inside each frame. If there is no faces in a frame, so if CV2 cannot, if face recognition cannot find a face inside a image, it may lead to throwing an error and crashing our whole program accordingly. So for that, let's say try, let's do face self dot face recognition here, and let's pass the parameters called image, encode list, comma, class names as we already discussed. Let's say except, let's only accept the exception as E, and leave the all other exceptions. Print E. Inside the face recognition, we need to program something to recognize the face and draw the rectangle and give the name accordingly. Let's say faces is equal to face recognition dot face locations of image, encode current frame is equal to face recognition dot face encoding of image, comma, faces of current image. We have created this function to find the face from every single frame, and if we find a face, we'll be drawing a rectangle around the face for that, right? For finding the actual location of the rectangle where we want to draw, let's create a for loop here for encode face and face location in zip of encode current frame and faces of current frame. Let's say match, if f match is equal to face recognition dot compare faces of our encode list and encode face, comma, let there be a tolerance of 0.5. Down below, face distance, face recognition dot face distance of encode list, comma, encode face. Now we'll be getting the match. If there is a match, it will be stored inside the match, and the phase distance will be located inside this phase distance, and the phase locations of the x and y axis will be there in the phase location variable. So let me say a variable called self.name is equal to unknown. So if we don't know the name of the person, let's say it's unknown, and a best match index, let's say best match index is equal to numpy dot argmin of phase distance. So let's say if match of best match index, if there is match in the best match index, let's say self dot name is equal to the class name which we have created the above. Inside, let's pass best match index. The name of the file, name of the photo will be stored inside the self.name, and then we'll be creating the rectangle y1 comma x2 comma y2 comma x1 is equal to face location, and then cv2 dot rectangle. Inside this, let's pass image comma, and then the locations of our rectangle to be x1 comma y1, and then comma x2 comma y2. The color of the rectangle, so let's say 0,255,0. Down below, cv2 dot put text to display the text down below the image self dot name, and then the location of the text to be. For example, you can use this formula as it's working for everyone. X1 minus 6 comma y2 plus 20. This is the location of the text to be exactly down below the rectangle. Come on, let's say the font to be cv2 dot 0.5 comma the color 255 comma 255 comma 255 comma the thickness is 1. That's it. Now let's return the image. Now face recognition is completed, and the final is to display the image. Now inside the display image, we want to do some filters in order to display the image inside our GUI file. So these are the basic filters which I am using, and I don't know what this filters actually does, so I'll be using this as the default code for me, and I don't want to explain this code. Okay, this is the default code which I am using to filter the image. Okay, so down below, if window is equal to 1, and as we discussed right here, which the window is equal to 1, it will always be 1. Self dot login, sorry, it's face UI dot video label is the label which I have created, dot set pixmap, actually set pixmap of q pixmap dot from image. Let's give the out image right here which we have filtered, and let's say scaled contents to be true. Face UI dot video label dot set scaled contents to be true. That's it. Now we are good to go. I think so. Now it will be working fine. Let's click on the run button, and we don't see okay, we don't see anything right here, so click on exit. Something is happening maliciously. Let's find it out. Okay, I found that I didn't call the run program inside our init. So let's say self dot run program, and now it's cool. Let's get started. Click on run. You can see encoding started, and we don't see any windows popping up. Okay, it's popped up, and you can see the test really appeared, and the image is encoded successfully, and it is detecting the faces, but the frame rate is very slow. As you can see, GP Muthu, and it's the frames are really slow. It's extremely slow, guys. Okay, so now let me click on the exit. Even I am using a high-end processor, it is very slow on my system. So now, guys, I want to filter the name from say. So, guys, to actually filter the name from this something else like this by being speaking dot star, I have created a function to filter the name. As you can see, I'll be pasting it right here and down here. It's the function name called name list, and we should pass the name of the image. If the name starts with GP, and the name will be changing into GP Muthu. And if the name starts with Steve Rogers, Natasha, and Natasha Romanov, Tony, and it will be turning on to the Tony Stark. So to apply the filter, actually go to here, self dot name is equal to let's say name list. Inside the name list, let's pass self dot name. Now the self dot name is actually replaced with the filtered names, and then down below we want to add a function to actually connect our main file after we have the image of actual owner. So let's say if you are creating this file, whenever Jarvis sees you in the video or in the webcam, he will be allowing you to access, like, it is the security of your total database. Let's say def connect to main file, import one subprocess called call, then self dot close, and then open call python, and then comma the file name which we want to actually call. Let's say login window dot py. Now whenever the connect to main file triggers, this will close the face recognition and open the next file we have given right here. To trigger this method, actually we want to find if the owner is actually there. To find this, go to the display image, and down below let's say if self dot name is equal to let's say Tony Stark. Let's connect it now. Connect to main file and self dot timer dot stop, and it's good to go now. Let's try it out. Encoding started. Okay, we can see it is playing the GP Muthu image, and I'll be fast forwarding till we meet Tony Stark. You can see it is not detecting Steve Rogers' face because it's not completely visible to us, as the forehead is not, the top head is not visible. And you can see now our program will be redirecting us to the login window right now. Okay. Without even drawing the rectangle, it done finishing. It's very fast when redirecting, right? Okay, now like this, and click on the login. It actually works fine. Let's click on the retry, and it is good. Let's exit this. Now we have completed the face recognition. Now it's time to go to our main Jarvis file. I'm so excited to code it. Okay, now I'll be showing you how to create our main Jarvis file. First, we'll be creating our GUI file. Okay, for this, I'll be creating a new GUI file for our main Jarvis file. Okay, inside this file, let's click on the add new. Click on this, choose next, finish. Now let's resize this 2002 to 80 cross 720. Okay guys, our GUI part is completed, and you can see that here is our terminal. Let me move this into this. Okay, it's a frame, and we should move this by frame, and it's good right now. And you can see I used for this terminal, I used Q plain text edit, and you can drag and drop this from here, and Q plain text edit. It's right here, plain text edit. And for this I used Q line edit. This is the exit button, and here is the enter button, and I should Q the pixmap. Okay, it's cool right now. I will exit and enter here. Okay, now let me save this and open this as a Python file. Okay. Okay guys, now it's actually working, and you can see every images is properly working. Okay, so now let's create a new file for our commanding our GUI file. So click on the control alt insert, click on the Python file and Jarvis main file. Okay, now let's use our default commands here. Okay, now our setup is so complete. Okay, it's opening perfectly. Now let me give a command to run all the GUI files on the backend, so that we can see all the moving elements. Okay, so for that, before this, let me clear you first. Let's open this. Okay, now first we need a class to operate our main Jarvis at the backend to process those commands and reply our queries. After that, we'll be simultaneously changing our labels, example speaking, loading, listening. For that, we'll be creating a thread to operate multiple processings at a single time. For example, first thread will be doing the GUI process, like opening this and creating the movie, etc. And our second thread will be operating at the backend to control our Jarvis, listen to our commands, etc. For that, we need a package called QThread, as we have already got the Qt core. Okay, let me import this from PyQt5. Import QThread. Sorry, from PyQt5 dot Qt core import QThread. Okay, and this is not going to do properly, guys, so let me remove this. So this, let me control X, cut this out, and create a class for the GUI part, GUI of Jarvis. Inside this, let's pass QWidget. Inside here, we should pass the QThread. Okay, and then we'll be giving the init here, init, and down this, let's say super, and then here we should paste, there's an error, so let's say GUI of Jarvis. Okay, cool. And here you should give this also, GUI of Jarvis. Okay, now let me run this command, and it's working all right. Okay, before coding our Jarvis part, let me finish the GUI part first. Okay, so first let me create the dynamic update of all the movies to run simultaneously. So def, say, let's say run all movies, and then let's specify each movies with their own label name and a variable name. First, let's say self dot Jarvis UI dot let's say coding movie, because we have the coding movie on our left top, like this. And let's click on the run, and you can see, okay, it is not running because we didn't call the function here. I'm always doing errors like this. Okay, so don't never mind. Self dot run all movies. Now it's run. You can see the GUI part is running actually. Okay, that's good. So let's code this to every other labels. Okay, now I finished programming to all those movies which are I'm going to see now. Run Jarvis, and you can see the background, it's moving, and the sleeping mode is on, and we can see the arc reactor, it's rotating around, and the coding label, and everything is working fine, guys. So let me click on the exit, but it is not working because we have not programmed it to exit right now. Okay, I'll do that first. Okay, done. Now let's move on to our Jarvis main coding part actually. And for this main coding part, I have already created a main Jarvis file which I have made a tutorial in this channel. You can also check out these tutorials if you don't know how to make a Jarvis, and I'll be not teaching that because in this video I'll be showing you how to make this work through the GUI, and in the older videos I didn't use any GUIs to work with. Okay, so I'll be importing those codes directly into this, and I'll be explaining how actually we can optimize this. Okay, you can see this is the Jarvis file which we already created in our past tutorials, and this is what I've been just waiting for. Just click on the Control Alt, Control C, and let me place this inside this main Jarvis class. Okay, now and I'll be taking these imports and placing this above head. Okay, and let me take out these engine speak wishings commands. Commands, it's commands is okay inside this, and let's make click Control X. Outside the class, let me place this engine is equal to speak and wishings, etc. And okay, let me take this close, and we don't want this if name is equal to main, and wishings while true, we don't want this while true, and okay, this is gonna be a intent right here. Okay, we should pass self here in order to make this work like this. Let's say self dot commands dot lawyer. Okay, for this let's create def run Jarvis. Okay, now it's cool. Okay, let's say self dot commands. Okay, now let me take this else also. Okay, it's cool right now. Inside our main Jarvis backend program, we have created a commands method and a run Jarvis method. Inside this, we'll be running our whole Jarvis program. Before calling this run Jarvis, we should be giving a method called def run, and then we'll be calling this called run Jarvis self dot run Jarvis. That's it. I think so this will work actually, so let me okay, let's try this out by clicking the run button. mm, okay, our Jarvis file is not running. Okay, let me click on this exit, and as you can see, I didn't triggered the class main Jarvis anywhere in this program. As you can see, I've called the GUI of Jarvis from this UI is equal to GUI of Jarvis. To actually trigger this Jarvis main, we should create a variable. So let me minimize this run Jarvis, and you should create a variable here. It's not a variable actually, it's a instance or object actually. Start execution is equal to, let me trigger this Jarvis main. Okay, Jarvis main, and this code is not accessible. As you can see, our code will be going through the main. If name is equal to main, UI is equal to Jarvis, GUI of Jarvis, and it will be going through this order. It will not actually take this as command to execute. So to trigger this command, we'll be calling the command inside this run all movies. So let me say start execution dot start. That's it. Now let me minimize this. And now let me click on the run button. You can see the listening will be right here. Yes, we got the listening right here. Hello Jarvis, what's the time now?
Sir, the time is 13 hours 9 minutes and 51 seconds.
Wow, it's actually working, guys. You can see it is 13:09 hours right now. You can see all our GUIs are working simultaneously. Now it's actually working, guys. It's working very fine actually. But we want to update our movies dynamically. So if our Jarvis is in the listening mode, we should update this GIF to the listening mode. If it is sleeping, so we can update this as sleeping. So for that, I'll be creating another method here. So click minimize this. So let's say def update movies dynamically. So he should get one parameter here called state. Okay, so let's say if state is equal to listening, if state is listening, first we need to self dot Jarvis UI dot listening label dot raise. So we should bring the listening label in front of us, and then we should hide all those backend labels which is hiding these listening label. So for example, this coding label won't affect this, and speaking label will definitely affect this, and we should hide this out. Okay, so self dot Jarvis UI dot speaking Jarvis speaking label dot hide, and then self dot Jarvis UI dot loading label dot hide, and then self dot Jarvis UI dot sleep mode sleeping label dot hide, and then finally we want to show listening label Jarvis UI dot listening label dot show. This is the code actually, guys. So let me do this for others also to make this work. uh, so we should call this update movies dynamically and pass the state inside. We can add the function here. So let's say UI dot update movie dynamically. Inside this we'll pass the listening, and that's cool. And inside the wishings we can also define this as UI dot update movies dynamically. Inside this we'll be calling the like speaking. Let's say this is listening, right? UI dot update movie dynamically. Inside this let's pass listening, and then finally inside this try block we'll be loading and recognizing. So let's say UI dot update movie dynamically. Inside this let's say loading. Okay, that's fine, and let's minimize this. Okay, I'll do this for loading and sleeping too. Okay, okay, I done this. So let me click on the play button, and we'll be getting this working. As you can see, Jarvis is now listening, and it is displaying the listening image. Hello Jarvis, what's the time now? It's loading.
Sir, the time is 13 hours
And
16 minutes and
speaking
29
is
seconds.
actually not working. Okay, so let me check why the speaking is not working. Let's say speaking, and Jarvis speaking label is raised, listening label is hidden, loading label is hidden, sleeping label is hidden, Jarvis speaking label dot show. It's actually working, right? But listening, as you can see, we passed the listening here, so sorry for that. Speaking, we should pass the speaking, right? Okay, let me run this out. Jarvis, what's the time, bro?
Sir,
Okay,
the time is
it's
13
speaking.
hours 17 minutes and 6 seconds.
Okay, it's you're cool, right? Okay, now exit the program. Okay, you can see Jarvis is listening for one time, and he is not listening for the second time and third time. Should use the while true right here actually. While true, this should be the endless loop, and give a intent space after this while. Sorry, this is the what. Let me run this again. Jarvis, what's the time now? Moscow is asking the time.
Sir, the time is 13 hours 18 minutes and 4 seconds.
Okay, Wikipedia technology.
Searching in Wikipedia.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia,
Hmm.
OK Boomer or OK Boomer is a
Oh,
catchphrase and internet meme that has been used by millennials and Gen Z to dismiss or mock
oh my
attitudes
God.
typically associated with baby boomers, people born in
Baby
the 2 decades
boomers.
following World War II. The phrase first drew widespread attention due to a November 2019 TikTok video in response to an
Oh
older
my
man,
God.
though
Please
the phrase had
stop
been
this,
coined years
bro.
before that.
Now we want to actually command him through the terminal, and we don't want this terminal to work. We don't want this terminal to actually work and say the listening, speaking, that kind of words. So I want these commands to be executed right here inside the GUI. And when I type this something and enter, you should be able to answer those commands accordingly. So for that, let's say minimize this too. Do you want this? And here let me create another method called terminal print. Inside this, let's pass the text as a parameter. Let's say self.jarvis UI dot terminal output box dot append plain text, and let's pass the text here. And this is a simple command, so get through this. And whenever we use a print, we should use this terminal print so that we can print to the terminal. So press the Control R, you can get this replace button. So type the print here. Whenever we use the print, let's say UI dot terminal print. Let's check the word if it's correct. Okay, terminal print. Okay, let's me replace all. And okay, it's good right now. We don't have any errors. UI.terminal print is always good morning, boss. And let me use the wishings here. Wishings. Okay. Let me run this program.
Good afternoon, boss.
Yes, you can see Jarvis good afternoon, boss, and it is listening inside command terminal. Hello, Jarvis. How are you? Okay, you can see this. You just said you can see Jarvis. Good afternoon, boss, and it's listening terminal. Hello, Jarvis. How are you? Yes, good. Let me exit this. Okay. And now we want to give the command from the input text box. So for that, let me create another method here called manual code from terminal.
Good afternoon, boss.
And now whenever we use type some letters here, some words, and then click on the enter, it should detect those text and then it should react accordingly. So if so let's say cmd is equal to, it's a variable to get the text from the input box. Okay, self dot jarvis ui dot terminal input box dot text. And then if cmd is available, if there is text, self dot terminal input box dot clear. We should clear the text after sending, and then we should display the text inside the output terminal box. Also self dot jarvis ui dot terminal output box dot append plain text inside this. And then if we get those commands, if cmd is equal to exit, let's say ui dot close, and then elif cmd, so help self dot terminal print, let's give some like this, and then finally else pass. Okay, and then here another else pass. Now let me run this. Okay,
Good afternoon, boss.
so when I click on this and type exit here, okay, exit, and click on the enter, and I'm not getting anything because I didn't called this manual code to be executed in the init function. So again I made a big mistake. Dot enter button dot click dot connect self manual code from terminal. Okay, that's it. So let's run this again.
Good afternoon,
Let
boss.
me type exit and click on the enter. You can see my code using the code 0. Okay, let me run this again and see if my help function works.
Good afternoon, boss.
Okay, let me type help here and click on the enter. You can see the terminal printed and I can perform various tasks which I programmed by me by Curtis sir, examples of time, Wikipedia minimize, etc. It's very good, guys. It's upon your creativity. You can do anything you want with this function, guys. Actually, I have tried a lot to find these commands as I programmed this for weeks to identify how to make this, guys. So please give a subscribe or hit the like button so that it will be so motivated for me, and I'll be excited if you give a comment like it's very good and etc. which is motivating me so much. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you will like this video, and please subscribe and please share this with your friends so that I'll be getting some more views, and it will be motivating me to do more contents related to Jarvis. So once again, really thank you for watching
Searching
this
in
Jarvis.
Wikipedia. No results found, sir.
I know Jarvis, no results will found. Okay, exit.